When it comes to my video series on 3D avatars for platforms such as VRChat, I specifically focus on elements and issues that might affect new users. This is done simply because purchasing one of these avatars can be rather daunting for someone new to it. You're expected to spend between $30 to $60 on a premium piece of work you can't refund, which is even more problematic if you lack skills with Unity or how to properly upload it. All of this eventually led to me creating this series where I review and discuss 3D avatars, helping express the standout features an avatar may have to those interested, while also helping where I can for those new with understanding this sort of stuff. Obviously, with such a focus on new users, not everything I mention will be an issue for everyone, which is true as there are more experienced users who know their way around the more problematic parts. However, that doesn't make them any less of a potential issue simply due to knowing more, bringing us to today's topic. Tosca is a 3D creator who has made some amazing avatars with an almost cartoon-like style, each one being $30 a pop, with many of them having designs ranging from cute to cool. It sounds like the perfect recommendation for those looking for a well-designed model. Although, a new set of models they've made have sort of changed that view. As of late, Tosca has been making remastered and redux versions of their models, model updates which make use of the Digidegrade leg system, alongside some mesh changes. On the surface, this sounds like an awesome update for various models people enjoy. In reality, this update comes with a slew of issues for both new and returning users, as these remasters are separate listing from the original, marked at $30 each. Buyers of the old version must buy this new version or be locked out of updates. Newer buyers have to make sure they understand the listing differences before buying, as the original listings are still $30 despite being outdated and receiving no new updates. This is pretty concerning as Tosca, like most other 3D avatars, doesn't allow refunds on 3D avatar purchases. Rightfully so. It's a digital good you download, so revoking access is rather difficult. Yet, when it's possible to potentially buy the wrong version, this does start to become a problem. I should probably mention buyers of the older models also aren't given any compensation for this new listing, unless the artist themselves deems it, which has only happened once. A 50% off coupon for the previous owners of the ZiggyZackary's model. If these remasters were a case of the artist redoing a model from the ground up, with nothing being carried over, I can see the need of having a separate listing for people to purchase instead of the old one. However, most of these changes are simply slight anatomy and mesh fixes. The Phoenix Redux, when compared to the original, doesn't have much going for it. It mostly contains a few mesh changes, with the hands and fluff being edited. Yet, it was apparently enough to force previous buyers to buy the model a second time. I haven't even mentioned older models which won't be receiving a remaster or redux, which is due to Tosca not being able to stand looking at them, much less working on them, meaning you'll either have to update the model yourself, or buy something else. All of this makes it difficult to recommend these avatars in the long term, as you never know if your favorite avatar will be given a remaster requiring another purchase, or if it'll just never receive a new update, requiring you to move on to a different avatar. When looking at the short term, a new issue presents itself. Photoshop files, or more commonly referred to as PSDs, are a really important file type for 3D avatars. While not exactly the most fun or recommended way to edit textures, they allow those inexperienced with texture editing to at least edit the colors as they wish. This is often thanks to the layers being separated by color and or part, meaning you pick your favorite color, press the fill button, and now that part is colored to your liking. Just having this ability is great if you want something different from the default style. Not to mention, PSD files are compatible with a large list of programs, from free and readily available options like FilePack and GIMP, to more paid options like Clip Paint and, of course, Photoshop itself. In short, PSD files are extremely useful for new users or those not really looking for complex edits, mostly due to the large list of compatible programs and the simplicity of the layer system. For Tosca, they will only provide one file type for their textures, a file type that only works with an expensive art program by the name of Substance Painter. Their reasoning for this is due to Substance Painter making avatar texturing much easier. This is true for an experienced user of the program who might use it often, as you're able to see where your painting translates onto the model in real time. For someone who knows nothing about the program, however, this is far from the truth. You have to learn an entirely new program with a lot of complex features and settings, not to mention requiring the user to have artistic talents painting on a 3D model. I was initially rather relaxed in the decision back when Citizen Painter was $20 a month. Now that it sits at $50 a month thanks to having been purchased by Adobe, I can't exactly be as kind as I was before, especially after having learned Substance Painter has compatibility issues with itself. And before anyone uses the excuse of free trials or methods to get it for free, that doesn't change the fact that Substance Painter is a difficult program to learn, and the free trial just adds time limit to get the most use out of it before it ends. Now, I'm expressing these frustrations with the thought of how this might affect a new user, since obviously, a new user who just spent $30 on an avatar should not be told to spend more money and learn a new program, just to have the simple ability to change the colors to your liking. Thankfully, due to a loophole that Tosca is aware of, you can have others convert the Substance Painter file to PST. I'm at least grateful this is an option, but it still doesn't really make the concern any easier. I personally feel it would be in Tosca's best interest to work with someone within their community, making it possible to help in the PSD conversion process for those that need it, something quite a number of communities have done before to great success. I don't want to make it seem like PSD files are an absolute requirement though. Converting a big complex file type to PSD isn't the easiest thing in the world. However, there is a big difference between can't provide it and won't provide it. Now at this point, I could go into more details regarding other concerns surrounding Tosca, such as the quality of some of their previous commissions, or even their social media behavior. However, that isn't part of the topic for this video, nor do I feel it adds anything to the point I'm trying to make. The goal is to show the issues present with some of these business decisions. One or two of these on their own would be annoying, but somewhat manageable. All of these together, however, and there is no way I can defend or look past it. These issues also start dipping into the territory of not just affecting new users. Anyone who genuinely purchased from Tosca is also susceptible as well, and when it does finally happen, the lack of a refund will hurt the most. While this issue might not affect those who haven't purchased from Tosca yet, simply telling people, if you don't like it, don't buy it, won't fix the issue, nor does it do anything for those who have already purchased it. With everything on the table, I can't exactly recommend purchasing anything from Tosca, at least until the situation is addressed and proper changes can be made in the future. There's just too much that can go wrong with your purchase in the short and long term. That isn't to say I have anything against the models themselves, however. $30 for a well-designed model is very handy when many other listings reach very high above that, and the designs some of these models have are really nice to have around. Say what you want about their version of the Rexoium that they unintentionally make out to be better than the original. The art style Tosca uses turn this into a sort of cartoon-like Rexoium that I am all for, even if a month later they made a cat version which feels like it should have been one whole package. Therefore, if you can find their models as public versions, definitely go for it. A lot of the purchase-specific issues aren't really a factor when it's an in-game test model. Plus, Tosca supports and allows people to make public versions of their models, both in VR chat and even within Neo's VR. This neatly ties into the reason why I'm expressing all of this within a video. I was initially going to combine this discussion alongside my review of their Phoenix model. Yet, aside from the fact that it's taking a while, I felt it would give off the idea that I dislike their models, which isn't at all the case. They aren't all perfect, of course, especially when you combine them with the typology complaints I've heard. However, each of these models has a unique design and a solid $30 price tag across the board. It's just that the risk of purchasing them isn't felt until after you've already made your decision. Anyway, I think it's time for me to wrap things up and explain what I wish to see changed. Mostly just suggestions that I think may help fix these business decisions for others. For starters, I wish to see buyers of a model that receives a Redux be compensated for their new separate listing. If Tosca's adamant about making people buy it again, they should only really have to pay about $5 or $10. Or, the better option, these updates be given for free while the base price increases. The latter suggestion is a common strategy for model creators that has proven to work, as the only ones inconvenienced are new buyers who have yet to purchase it, which, due to that, the price increase should only be about maybe $5. At the end of the day, no one should be forced to buy the same model again at full price just to receive more updates, especially when most of the changes are unwarranted or disliked. For older listings where updates won't be provided, our price and title changes in order. I suggest marking models that won't receive new updates as obsolete, while also changing the base price to about $10 to $15. Yes, this will hurt for those who bought the model right before it became obsolete. However, it also means new buyers will be aware there won't be updates before purchasing, saving a lot of buyers from the worry of why an avatar they just purchased is super out of date. This also has a lot of benefits for the more dedicated buyers. I'm sure there are maybe a few who would love to update and edit the models, which can help if more people have access to it while it's not being worked on. Lastly, I think with the large community Tosca has, PSD files should be considered more often. It should never be a good idea to push people to spend more money just to customize something they bought, seeing as all the options involved with only a Substance Painter file involve money or learning a new complex program. I'm also a little hard on this point due to some of Tosca's recent listings, which have removed their statement that the avatar doesn't come with PSD files and to simply use Substance Painter instead. Combine this with the fact there's no file list on their Gumroad listings, and you won't know until you actually buy it. If you feel everything I've suggested is too much to ask from a creator who relies on avatar sales, that's perfectly fine. Whether or not it's their only form of income, however, should not be an excuse to take advantage of customers, from either forcing updates through separate listings so that previous buyers have to buy it again, to confusing new buyers into potentially buying the wrong version and wasting money. If there's anything you'd like to mention yourself, feel free to discuss within the comments below, from previous purchase experiences to some of the actions you might have dealt with. I feel discussion surrounding this topic may help towards showing the importance of these changes. I do request that discussions remain respectful towards Tosca and everyone involved. Harassment is never the way to go, and it will never help get the point across should it turn into that. To help keep things going, I'll make sure to properly update the pinned comment and description with anything new that happens, as well as correct anything I might have gotten wrong throughout this video. In the meantime, please look forward to some of my future reviews. I still intend to review Tosca's Phoenix Redux with the help of my good friend, who I must thank for buying the model a second time just to help with my decision. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you next time.